What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We starting again. Another Warrior Since 9-1 podcast. Once again, it's your boy Izzy Too Real coming to you with another episode, and we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about everything that's going on right now with these Golden State Warriors as far as the end of the road trip and the homestand. And the beginning of the homestand, we got to talk about the size. We got to talk about specific players. We got to talk about it, man. The Warriors went. The Warriors on a three-game losing streak right now. Just got done watching the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Well, the first one against Minnesota, and man, the team is looking very small, very small. Not only are they looking very small, they're looking very unathletic. They're looking like a bunch of older guys. I'm not gonna say old guys, but they're looking like a bunch of older guys. And the way that this team is playing right now is not gonna be helpful heading into the postseason or even trying to win the in-season tournament. Right now, the team is kind of being more heavily reliant on Steph, maybe more than ever. At least last year, there was at least Jordan Poole to be like a secondary option or a guy that could at least give you 20 points. Not this year. You don't have that. You just have Steph being nuclear, going for 30 every night, and then maybe somebody have 12 or 14 points to be the secondary scorer. And you're gonna need more than that, especially in this crowded Western Conference, especially in this crazy parody of the NBA, where right now it seems like a lot of the young teams are getting off to great starts. Your Houston Rockets team, Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota, who's right now the number one defense in the league. So those type of things right now are gonna be variables the Warriors gonna have to work through. But let's get into this. As far as the road trip, the Warriors did go. What was it? 2-2, 2-2 on the road trip. They lost the game to Cleveland, which tough, very very tough, and then they lost the game to Denver. So they lost those two, then come back home, and they well, are they on a four-game losing streak? What game was in the middle? I forget what game was in the middle. There was one game in the middle where they did win. I think it was one of the trap games that they won. Um, Damn, I can't even remember what game that was. But again, they lost the Cleveland game on the road trip, and then they lost the Denver game on the road trip. The other two they won they were looking pretty damn good. But just those games against bigger teams or against more athletic teams, that seems to give them problems. So let's get into as far as what could be the root cause of it. And again, the main culprit right now is going to be the size. Let's fix the hat. It's going to be the size. The size right now is going to be the biggest issue for the Golden State Warriors. The biggest guy that they have is 6'10". So at 6'10", it's just going to be a little bit more difficult for them to guard guys like Jokic or even Anthony Davis. Who's another guy? Carl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. Well, Rudy Gobert's not an offensive guy that you have to worry about, but just having those defensive stalwarts on the other side, or Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Just those teams with two bigs out there is going to give the Warriors a hard time. And even if they try to play both of their bigs at the same time, still not going to be able to work. It really made it difficult for Steph Curry to be able to get a lot of shots inside as well. Just seeing how the paint is clogged. And when you play a team like Minnesota, who's going to have Rudy Gobert pretty much in drop coverage, but then you still have another guy like Carl Anthony Towns to come over. And then not to mention that Minnesota's guards can still keep you on the perimeter or keep you in front of them, i.e. Mike Conley, Nikhil Alexander Walker, and who's the other guy? Damn it. I don't know. McDaniels? Jaden McDaniels. So, they have those three guys guarding you. Then you have, not Jaden McDaniels. How am I forgetting Ant-Man? Ant-Man can guard. He's not a slouch on the defensive end. So you just have these five bigger guards, and you're going against guys like Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson. That right there, the tallest guy is 6'7". And the tallest guy on the other side is already 6'9", and McDaniels, or 6'8". So it's just gonna be difficult with the size, and you can't blame nobody but them. It's their own fault, because especially with the coaching staff, the blame would have to be on Steve Kerr, just because he refuses to allow the front office to sign a big. And I mean a real big that's like a good 6'11". I don't care if it's somebody like a Walker Kessler or Kessler Walker, however you say his name. I think it's Kessler Walker. Um, Guys like that, or even a Eubanks, like those type of guys, just to have one on your team that have a big to be able to throw in there. Um, a guy like a Nas Reed, who's been very, very beneficial for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they just refuse to go get a big guy like that. So we're stuck with what we have. Dario Saric is not gonna guard nobody on the defensive end. Jokic bullies him. Karl Anthony Towns bullied him. Um, Even Donovan Mitchell bullied him a few times. So it's just he's not going to be a defensive stalwart that you need, especially in that paint. Kevon Looney's looking a little sluggish, looking like he's tired. Um, and he could be. This guy has played 280 something consecutive games, so of course he could be sluggish. It's a possibility. Plus he's 6'9" in there with all those 7 foot guys trying to battle and get rebounds and screen and all that. So it's very, very difficult for Kevon to be able to stay on the floor for longer than 24 minutes, 28 minutes. So they need more. So that's where TJD comes in, Trace Jackson Davis. You're gonna have to play the young guy. Every time he gets on the floor, it changes the trajectory of the game. Just the energy from him, even BP Potts, Moses Moody, who's been playing wonderful in my opinion, whether he's scoring or not. Just the extra energy out there on the floor. Him even being more aggressive, taking jump shots when he feels the need to. And a lot of times it's starting to come more often now. The last couple of years, he used to kind of be more passive, more timid to take his jump shot. Now he's taking it more often. He has a green light, you could tell. Kuminga, as far as Jonathan Kuminga goes, he just needs to slow down. That's all he needs to do. Jonathan Kuminga needs to slow down, and he needs to be able, because you can tell that the game has not quite slowed down for him yet. The way that he's moving out there on the court, he's trying to do too much too fast. Sometimes he needs to just slow down, maybe pass up a shot or two to be able to get the ball back for a layup or a dunk. But right now he's pressing a little bit too much. And then we got to get to the biggest elephant in the room. And it's not Draymond Green. The elephant in the room is Andrew Wiggins. What's going on with Andrew Wiggins? We have not a fucking clue. And I'm not going to say excuse my language because I don't know where the hell this guy is at. He's turning into Minnesota Wigs right now. He can't be found. He's missing layup after layup after layup. Taking the dumbest of jump shots, like very heavily contested fadeaway jump shots that he's just not making. He's not making them this year at any clip. So for him to keep wanting to shoot those shots, I know shooters are going to shoot, but you're not really a shooter. You're a slasher. Slash to the bucket, get some dunks, get fouled. But even when he gets fouled and go to the line, he's missing the free throw. So I really can't even tell you what it is besides try to be more aggressive and act like you're a force out there. But for some reason, Wiggins is not showing up. He's not even averaging double figures on the season. Where the hell is Wiggs? And without Andrew Wiggins, this team is they're gonna have to make some changes. I know we say this every season when things don't go right, especially at the beginning, but this is really a situation where they're gonna have to do something because Andrew Wiggins is not working. The starting lineup right now isn't working. And that goes for Wiggins, Looney, Steph Curry. Klay Thompson has not been playing his best, and Draymond Green. So something's going to have to be changed around. In my opinion, I'm thinking it's going to have to be... it's. I'm sorry about that. It's a lot going on in there in the other room. Just trying to record real quick, but things happen. But anyway, as far as the team goes, Klay Thompson, just the 14 points every game, this just might be the new norm for Klay. And if that's the case, maybe he has to come off the bench. But it's either Klay or Wiggins going to have to come off the bench. And I hear a lot, maybe just saying Looney. Nah, Looney has to stay in the game. Let Looney start. And I think they're going to have to think about making Chris Paul a starter to see what that looks like. To have him control the game. Now, they're going to be small. They're already small. There's nothing they can do about that. So they're going to have to make some type of moves to help get guys in better positions because really defensively is not really the biggest problem. It's offensively. Especially with those big tree towers in there, like either Jared Allen and Evan Mobley or, Jokic and Aaron Gordon. Who else you could think about? Who's the team we just played? Minnesota. So Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. those type of towers in there is going to make it very difficult. So they need a point guard in there to be able to slow things down and speed it up, change the pace at times and get guys in the right position to be able to succeed. Without that, it's gonna be a long season. Another thing too that's gonna have to be done. Steve Kerr's gonna have to play the young guys. This cannot be a season like last year where they allowed so much time to go by without the young guys playing, thinking that they weren't ready when they needed to play to get ready. This season, Moody, Kaminga, even BP, Trace Jackson Davis, they're gonna have to play. And I mean because it's not they're gonna have to play because we think that we just gotta throw them out there. They actually been doing a very good job. At the end of the Minnesota game, that game was pretty much dead in the water. For some reason, Brandon Pajemski by himself had made this a game where they could have cut the game to 3 at one point in time, and within a couple seconds left, and could have damn near came back and won the game within seconds. So those young guys bring a certain energy to the game that the older guys cannot. And that's what's going to have to happen in order for this team to be more successful. Because if not, we're going to see more games like this. They still have Minnesota one more time on Tuesday for the in-season tournament. We see how teams are starting to take this in-season tournament thing very serious now. Kind of treating it like a playoff game in some sorts. They don't know really what it is, but they're kind of treating it more like a playoff game. That they're very competitive as far as the courts. Um, and whatever on it. Still haven't seen the Warriors home court yet, but we'll see that on Tuesday and what that looks like. But as far as the in-season tournament goes, fantastic idea. It's been working for me, keeping me intrigued, keeping a lot of the fans intrigued, and we get to see the Warriors against Minnesota. And with the in-season tournament, I think that that's going to have a little bit more of an incentive for the Warriors to come out and play a better game against Minnesota than they did on Sunday night. But they're going to have to figure something out as a smaller team. And they're older now, so it's going to be harder to be more of a running gun team like they used to unless the young guys play. So there's going to be decisions that have to be made. I think that Andrew Wiggins needs to come off the bench until he finds himself, because right now he's not himself. He's not here. He's not anywhere. We don't know where the fuck Andrew Wiggins is at. And until we figure that out, or until he figures it out, more importantly, he needs to come off the bench and understand why you're coming off the bench. And before I get out of here, there's in the press conference, Draymond kind of dug into the team, but if you really, I wasn't even trying to dig that deep, but it just instantly, what he was saying, it instantly went to Andrew Wiggins, who I was thinking about, because he was saying things about, yeah, guys got their money, guys got paid, guys won a championship, guys became an all-star, guys became all NBA players. Those are all the accomplishments that Wiggins had gotten within the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe those comments were pointed absolutely towards Wiggins. He tried to throw himself and Chris Paul in it to try to throw us off, but those comments were aimed towards Andrew Wiggins. Steph Curry made some comments as well. They were very, very subtle, but it's only because you know who kind of the player is that they're talking about. And we see where the biggest problem lies, and that's within the starting lineup, because it's really not the bench. Every single game, Chris Paul and that bench unit gets them back in the game from a deficit that the starters got them into. Every single game. You cannot tell me, if you can think of a game, you can put them in the comment section below, but there's not a single game that you can point to me right now that the starters had a lead where the bench came in. Every game has been a deficit. So with that whole, the Warriors have the best starting unit or net rating and all that shit, I call bullshit. It's not the same no more. These guys are a little older. Some guys aren't the same. Draymond Green offensively has been great, and defensively he's been pretty great, but we need a secondary scorer. There needs to be a 20-point scorer. And if that guy is Jonathan Kuminga, well, then he needs to be placed into the starting lineup to see if he is. If that guy is Moses Moody, we need to see if he is. If that guy, who I think it could be, well, I don't know if Chris Paul can really average 20 on a night anymore. I think that maybe he can average a good 14. But point totals have to go up for other guys. It cannot just be Steph Curry going for 36 every night to try to hope that you win a game. So that's really all I got to say. I'll come back with another rant. Damn, that was a big ass boom. I'll come back with another rant later because I got more to say on the Andrew Wiggins situation. But You know, all the good shit. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave comments below. The email, WarriorSince91pod at gmail.com. Any questions, any statements, anything you want me to read on air, absolutely down for it. Just did a quick emergency podcast in the figure room. So, yeah, that's really all I got. We'll see y'all in a couple days because I'm doing another podcast. So yeah, check out the WrestleManiacs 2 podcast as well, with me and Playboy Troy. There's no longer an official date when these podcasts drop anymore because we're still dabbling in days where we can get things together. But yeah, that's really all I got. So just be on the lookout for those. And yeah, that's it. Deuces. See y'all next week.